If you want to see the progress in my Pan That palette, then stick around. Now, before I forget, if you like this kind of video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content on this channel in general, please consider subscribing. That would be fantastic. Hi there, it's Hélène with another video, and I am so pleased to be bringing you an update on the Pan That palette. This is my second update, and it is a project I was super nervous about, but I'm really happy to say that it's going reasonably well for what I was expecting. Okay, let's take a look at this bad boy. If you are not familiar with this one, it is the Matte Exposure by Smashbox, and it looks something like this. By the way, I just took the brush out, so it's a kind of a brow pencil brush or liner and a fluffy side. Here's what it looks like right there. And I'm going to grab something to hide the mirror if I can, because it doesn't fold back. Oh my goodness, it's really, it's really kind of, it's kind of dirty. Let me just clean that off for a second and yeah, and we'll continue. Okay, all cleaned up. Now, nobody can say that I'm not loving on this palette because there was eyeshadow all over the place. I'm going to use another palette of Smashbox to cover this up. Okay, I think this is working. So here is the palette. Now it's going to be pretty obvious, hopefully you can really see it, that the primary shade that I was concerned about was Buff right down there. And the last time I was saying, no, really, there's a dip, really, there's a dip. And I went back and looked at the footage once it was uploaded on YouTube and you couldn't see the dip. Well, now you can believe me because there is a ton of pan on this shade. I am so excited. Now, Buff was the primary color that I was concerned about, but I did end up using most of the colors in this section here. So I used, it's so hard to tell with these shades. I used Spice. Actually, I used all of these for sure. Let me just take a look at the top. Yeah, I think I used the darker shades right here because I didn't really need to use these because Buff was close enough, because these were just used as a base, or if I had 2 minutes to get out the door, I was using just those earthy tones because it was just easy, and very often I was leaving it as a base and coming back and doing a more complete eye look when I had the chance. But sometimes I was just heading out and wanted to look kind of put together because I had an appointment or something like that, where I would benefit from looking a bit more put together, especially since I do some public speaking. That can be really important for me to do. And this palette, as much as I don't tend to reach for it, when I'm in a pinch, it is a very good palette to get a look so fast. Again, it's the Smashbox Matte Exposure. And I think matte shadows in general are very forgiving when you're just trying to do a quick look. Whereas the shimmers, if you don't get them in quite the right area, it can look kind of funny. So anyway, now I am very happy with the progress on this one, but I think I'm going to switch it up. I think I want to try another shade, and I'm just looking at it here. And I think I want to use another shade that I can complement with Buff that would be hard to use on its own. So I'm going to challenge myself a little bit more here. And I'm going to say that I want to use 2 different colors. I want to use this one right here. And, right, that's not, yeah. It looks like Buff in my viewfinder. I want to use this one here and this one here, along with Buff as I need to. So this one, and continue to use Buff. I think that is going to be a good choice. And I'll probably be able to use those other 2 colors quite a bit and just kind of diffuse them out with buff so that it's not quite as much of a color as a base. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. You'll probably see some expanded pan in buff and not all that much progress on the other two colors the next update, but that's okay. I want to make progress on each one of those before I declare them as my focus, I guess. But yeah, it's not much of an update because there's only one color that has any kind of significant progress, but I hit pan. So I'm really, really excited, and a big amount of pan. The only other one to talk about, if you haven't seen my first update, is this one, and that was the black, the matte black that had an untimely death. It fell on the floor twice and made a mess. I had to clean up the floor like 4 times. And finally, I just chipped out all the rest of the black and said, I'm done. Because when a pan is compromised like that, unless you repress it, and I have so many matte blacks I'll never get through that there's no way I was going to focus on this one. And I do want to mention that for liner, I did use these couple a number of times this past month. I sort of kind of mentioned I used them, but don't think I said exactly how. And I did use them with the liner brush that comes in the palette. I think it's really simple. Now I am toying with the idea as well as possibly using this one as a brow powder for doing my brows as well eventually. I have another brow powder that I'm working on right now, but I'm curious to see how that pen does and whether it's something that I want to continue using. But that's for future updates. For now, I'm really happy with buff. I'm looking forward to using, let me just make sure I get them right, tonal and grounded. Tonal and grounded are the two that I want to use. So yeah, to me that's going to be great. One is more of a peachy tone, one's more of a cooler kind of a taupe tone, and I think it'll complement buff quite nicely. They will complement buff quite nicely. So that's it. That's my update. I hope this was exciting, despite the fact that it's only one pan, given it's my first pan that palette project. To have pan on my second update on a shadow that was virtually untouched before starting the project is really exciting to me. If you are working on a pan that palette project, I would love for you to let me know. I would love to go check out what you are doing, your progress. And yeah, I look forward to updating you next time, which will happen to be in the new year. So I can't believe I'm already going to say my next update is going to be in 2019. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this update. I hope you found it informative. Is it inspiring you to try to do a pan that palette? I know it's early, but it's very doable. Yeah, I'm shocked. I really thought this was going to be so much more strenuous of an activity than it is. So I highly encourage anyone who has not considered a pan that palette. If you've got a palette that's kind of like blah in your collection, but you think the shadows are good, then I highly encourage you to try out a pan that palette maybe for 2019. Anyway, thank you for listening today. I appreciate it very much. I look forward to seeing you in the next video and in the next update. But for now, take care.